Hello everybody, welcome back to the second video of Flanders 1302 Solitaire, a playthrough video. I'm going to do this time, I'm going to do the French side. It took some time before I could make this video because of some real life commitments, but that doesn't mean that I didn't do anything on the channel. I also added quite a number of subtitles on several videos, particularly for Waterloo Solitaire and Halo 1807 Solitaire. But as said, I had some other commitments. It took me some time to get to this playthrough video, but it's finally here. And this time we are going to play as the French. And as you can see, for that we have to select the blue color of the French and click on the French Solitaire setup button, and then all the items that we don't need disappear. We also saw that the banner of the French commander is placed here at the headquarters, because this is the location where the French commander starts at the beginning of the battle. Okay, we already saw in the first video where we played the Flemish, the map. I'm not going to go over that in detail, but we remember that we had the Flemish side consisting of infantry, only of infantry, because the Flemish nobility fought on foot besides the town militia. They also have archers over here, but they have no knights on horseback. On the contrary, on the French side, here the blue side, we have not only infantry, like the garrison over here, with the two units in the city of Courtrai, cowering there behind the walls. They are being besieged by the Flemish army, but we also have knights, armored knights on horseback. Here we have Godfrey of Brabant, Raoul de Nesle. Also the commander, Robert II d'Artois, has the command over a formation of 6 knights. And then we have Jacques de Chatillon, and they are supported by pikemen, 1 formation of infantry, and also the French crossbowmen. I'm going to go a bit more in detail into the activation cards. So first of all, let's start with the activation card of the Flemish knight Godfrey of Brabant, who is actually commanding a formation of knights fighting for the French king, and he has a number of possibilities, 3 to be exact. He can attack William of Jülich or Henry of Lonsen with a -1 die roll modifier. So these 2 infantry formations that he can attack with a -1 die roll modifier advantage. And as we can see here on the attack results table, the lower the roll, the more likelihood that the Flemish will suffer casualties and not the French. So that is an advantage for the French, being on horseback. Then they have the last possibility is they can attack the reserve if they are not in their advanced position, but when they are in their starting position, with a -2 die roll modifier advantage. But this on the condition that the formation of Jülich or Lonsen has been routed. So one of these formations have to be routed, completely destroyed, before they can choose this action. Then we have the infantry over here, consisting of 5 units, and they have the possibility to attack the Flemish archers with a -1 die roll modifier advantage. The archers over here only have 3 units. They can also attack William of Jülich, Henry of Lonsen, and if one of those has been routed, they can also attack the reserve, not being at their advanced position, with a -1 die roll modifier advantage. Then we have Raoul de Nesle, the Knights of Raoul de Nesle over here. They also have the possibility to attack the Flemish infantry, being Guy of Namur with a -1 die roll modifier, or the formation of William of Jülich. So one of these two formations, or the 6th infantry over here on the other side. And then we have, he also has the possibility to attack the reserve with a -2 die roll modifier here when they are located at their reserve position. But this on the condition that Namur or Jülich has been routed. Then we have Jacques de Chatillon. So he's here on the top corner, top right corner. Also a knight formation with 5 knights units. He can attack John Bolut with a -1 die roll modifier advantage, Guillaume Namur, and also the reserve if they are at their advanced position, and all with a -1 die roll modifier advantage. He also has the possibility to attack the reserve at their starting location, not in the advanced position, with a -2 die roll modifier advantage, but only on the condition that Bolut or Namur has been routed. Then he can also attack the reserve at their starting location. And then we have the pikemen over here, French pikemen. We also have an activation card for them. They can attack John Bolut, Guillaume Namur, or the reserve at their advanced position with a +1 die roll modifier. And then also they can attack the reserve, not at their advanced position, but at the position of at the start of the battle, if Namur or Bolut has been routed. And they don't have a particular die roll modifier for that. So that's also a possibility for the pikemen, the French pikemen. And then we have the crossbowmen. The crossbowmen over here. These are, you see that these are these triangular blocks are representing the French crossbowmen, and they are not an infantry unit, but they have the possibility to target any one Flemish infantry or archer formation except Ypres, and for that you have to do a roll with a 7-sided die and apply the results below. So a roll of 1 to 3 has no effect. A 4 only represents a hit if the target is the advanced reserve. The reserve here is at the advanced position and you fire at them. And a 5 to 7 roll is 1 hit in each case. So no condition there. And then last but not least, we have the very important activation card of the commander, Robert II d'Artois, and he starts at his HQ, at his headquarter location. You see it, his banner is over there, and that means that he can, being at the headquarters, that's the upper half of the activation card, he can order the garrison in Courtrai to attack Ypres. So garrison over here, he can order to attack the formation of Ypres, the city of Ypres, and that opens the way, once Ypres is routed, to attack Henry of Lonsen or the reserve, not at their advanced position, from the back, so with an advantage of -1 die roll modifier. So then they can attack the reserve or Henry of Lonsen if he manages to get rid of this Ypres formation. He can also order to activate any knight formation that has no available activation cards but still has units. So he can activate these knight formations. To be clear, he cannot activate the infantry or the crossbowmen formations or the pikemen formation, only the knight formations, who would still have units on the board but no activation cards anymore, because as you can see, the number of activation cards are limited. 4 for the Knights of Godfrey of Brabant, 4 for the infantry, 4 for Oudenaisle, 4 for Jacques de Chatillon, 6 for the pikemen, and we also have 4 for the crossbowmen, and we also have 6, as we can see here, for the commander activation card. Once the commander decides to go into battle, he becomes a formation, and that means that he also has to apply to the rules of any knight formation. And one of the rules is that, you can see it over here, these are the same rules as we also saw during the Flemish playthrough. An activation card of a formation cannot be used twice in a row. So as long as he is here at the headquarters, he can be activated every turn. So that's the first half of the activation card. When he's not at the HQ, so when he's really into battle, and that means that we have to move then his banner to the battle position over here, the crossed swords. Then he is in battle, and then he's no longer the commander at his HQs. He can no longer give these orders of the upper half. He can only do the bottom half of the activation card, and he cannot return back anymore. Be aware of that. So once he is in battle, he remains in battle. But that means that, for instance, when he's at the HQ, he can be activated every turn, and also the garrison can be activated every turn. You can also find this in the rulebook. Look at page number 4. Here we see that the French have Robert d'Artois and 6 formations, but the French garrison is not considered as a formation, but can be activated once every turn by the French commander, and this as long as the commander is not engaged in battle. Once he is in battle, he can attack any Flemish frontline formation with a -1 die roll modifier. So he can actually attack Henry of Lonsen, William of Jülich, Guy of Namur, or John Bolut. So these are the Flemish frontline formations. And he can also attack the Flemish reserve, but only if they are at the reserve advanced position over here. Not when they are here in the back. So this is the very special card of the commander. So that in the first half, he really acts as a commander giving orders. Once he has engaged in battle, then he is a formation, and he has to comply with the rules applicable for the formation. And as mentioned before, this means that he cannot be used twice in a row. The other general gameplay rules we know: commander special ability may be used every turn, but only once per turn, and this is as long as he is in the headquarters. A formation once destroyed may never be reassembled, and reinforcements cannot be added back into it. And mind you, this is also true for the opponent bot, so not only for the player. Actions cannot be performed for formations that are destroyed, which is quite obvious. Flemish frontline formations are John Bolut, Guy of Namur, William of Jülich, and Henry of Lonsen, because they are also mentioned here. And the frontline formations, what are these? Well, they are spelled out here on the player aid. And then a very important last rule: the die roll modifier is cumulative, but can never be higher than +2 for the Flemish and -2 for the French. So these are the most important rules, but all of them can be found back here in the manual, as we have seen also in the first playthrough video. I'm not going through the details of this manual, but there are examples inside here, in this manual. So if there is any doubt about certain rules, you can also always find it back in the manual inside the game. Then of course, they also have the charge possibility that was also available for the Flemish player. And this provides a -1 die roll modifier advantage to the attacking French knight, infantry, and pikeman formations. So this is not valid for crossbowmen. The only condition is that they must expend an extra activation card. And there are 4 of these French charges available. And for each of them you can use this token to indicate that a formation is doing a charge. And then the rules to win are on the player aid. How can the French player win? Well, the French win at the end of any turn when all the units in 4 of the 5 following Flemish formations are routed. So these are the 4 frontline formations: John Bolute, Guy of Namur, William of Jülich and Henry of Lonson, and the reserve. So if they manage to destroy or rout 4 of these 5 formations, the French win at the end of any turn. There is, however, also loose formation. The French lose at the instant, so from the moment, all the units of 3 of the 4 following formations are routed. There's the Knights of Robert II d'Artois, Jacques de Chatillon, Raoul de Nesle, and Godfrey of Brabant. So if 3 of them, of these 4 formations, have been routed, then the French immediately lose the battle. And then last but not least, the French lose at the end of turn 18, because we know we have 18 turns over here. And mind you, the color coding has no meaning. But we have 18 turns, and the French lose at the end of turn 18 if they have not achieved victory, which is the first condition. And like was the case for the Flemish, you also have an opponent, and this time it's the Flemish opponent is the bot side. And also here we have 3 difficulty levels. We have challenging. You can see here we also have veteran difficulty and also the tough difficulty, which you can choose. And an important remark to make is the asterisk, as you can see on top. The Flemish army can only move up to 3 times into Chiltern during the whole battle. And mark each with a Chiltern disc. So during the battle, the Flemish can only go up to 3 times into Chiltern, and after that it's no longer possible. So that is one of the rules that we have to keep in mind. You may wonder why we still have the conventional 6-sided die. Well, that is used in cases like we see here on the tactical events, when we roll a 3 and when we have to remove a random unit from either, in this case, the French pikemen or the French infantry. So in order to remove a random unit, we can use this die to roll. For instance, we can say an odd number is the French infantry and an even number are the French pikemen, in order to decide which of these formations have to remove 1 unit. So that was the overview of the French side. So let's now go to the French playthrough. The first thing we have to do for this playthrough is to select the difficulty level of the opponent bot. And for this playthrough I'm going to select the veteran difficulty level for the Flemish opponent. And then we can start. And here is the solitaire sequence of play. The first step the French player can ignore, because we have no Chiltern status for any of our formations. So actually the first step for the French player is step number 2. The player chooses an activation card and 1 action, which is the same first step as for previous game, which are built on the same mechanic like Waterloo Solitaire and Halo 1807 Solitaire, which are also available on Tabletop Simulator. So the player chooses an activation card and 1 action. Standard, we could open with the crossbowman. It's a very classic opener. But you can also have any other activation card you can select. But as we have 6 activation cards for the commander, and the commander is at his headquarters, we can see here, as his banner is over there, he can make certain decisions. And one of the decisions he can make is order his garrison to attack Ypres. And once Ypres has been routed, the garrison can attack Henry of Lonson or the reserve if they are not in their advanced position, both at a -1 die roll modifier. So he can actually attack, so first Ypres and then Henry of Lonson or the reserve here in the back giving this garrison an example. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. The garrison to attack Ypres. But as per usual, step number 3, we have to first roll to determine the bot action with the 7-sided die over here. And the most easy way to do that is click on the roll button. I'm going to do that now to determine the bot action, and we have a 2. And a 2 means William of Jülich. Apply the first valid action if attacked by knights, but this is not the case. And then the second one is attack Raoul de Nesle if William of Jülich has equal or more units than Raoul de Nesle. And William of Jülich has indeed more units. He has 6 infantry units, while Raoul de Nesle only has 5 knight units. So he will attack, and that means we have to roll again. And now we are actually in the execution of the bot action, step number 4, taking into account any player action effect, but there is not for the moment. So what do we have? We have a 5. There was no die roll modifier, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's true. So a 5 means 1 hit French or 1 hit Flemish. So 1 Flemish unit has been routed or destroyed, and 1 French knight unit of the formation of Raoul de Nesle. So that was the bot action. And now we are going to activate our action. And this is the garrison over here, is going to attack Ypres. And for that we're going to roll. And another way to roll is using a more manual roll. There we go. Ooh, a strange one, but it counts. It's a 6. And that means 1 hit French. Oh. We did not manage to remove Ypres. That's not a good start. And there we go. That is the step number. So we played the selected card action, or step number 5, and now we mark the plate activation card. We already discarded it. We marked it, but this was the commander card, and as long as he is in the HU, he can be reused every turn, so we don't have to mark it. This is the exception, because in this position he is not a formation. He is the commander giving orders. And then step number 7 is to mark the to move the turn marker and begin a new turn. And we do that by clicking on the +1, and then we also see the turn marker move to position 2, and this is the start of turn number 2. And again, it's the same routine as we already have seen also in the previous playthrough of the Flemish side. So this outbreak of the garrison has failed more or less, like it was also historically the case actually. So we are going to do something else. We also have here the Flemish infantry. We have quite a number of options. Let's attack Henry of Lonsen. Over here. Let's that be the action that we choose for the second turn for the French side. So French infantry will attack Henry of Lonsen. But first we have to roll for the opponent. And we have a 6. And that's Guy of Namur. Apply the first valid action if attacked by knights, but this is not the case. And then attack Jacques de Chatillon if Guy of Namur has equal or more units than Jacques de Chatillon. Okay. And this is the case. Guy of Namur has more units than Jacques de Chatillon. He has 6, while Jacques de Chatillon has 5, so he will attack. And for that, we have to do another roll. And it's a 3. That's 1 hit French, 1 hit Flemish. So 1 unit of Guy of Namur against 1 unit of Jacques de Chatillon. And now we are going to do our action attacking Henry of Lonsen with the French infantry. And we get a 7. And a 7 means 2 hits French. Oh, that's not good. And it's 2 infantry units from the French reserve. Also not a good start for this game. We discard the activation card, but now we really have to mark the infantry activation card because this is a formation that cannot be played. As you can see here, the activation card of a formation cannot be used twice in a row. So to mark that. And then we go to the next turn, turn number 3 already. It's not going very well. Let's now use the crossbowman to fire maybe at Guy of Namur. Yeah, let's do that. Fire at Guy of Namur, but first roll for the opponent. And that's a 1. And the one is John of Rennes, that's the Flemish commander. Use the tactical events. So we have to do another roll. And we have a 7. And what does the 7 say? The French knights are disorganized. Remove 1 activation card from a French knight formation that still has units on the board. Your choice. All the French knight formations have still units on the board. We have to remove 1 activation card. Of Jacques de Chatillon, Raoul de Nesle, Godfrey of Brabant, and we can also even count Robert d'Artois because they also can be a formation. It's a knight formation. I'm going to take 1 out, discard 1 from Raoul de Nesle. There we go. And now it's our turn. We are going to fire at Guy of Namur with our crossbowman. Manual roll. And we have a 7. And a 7, that's 1 hit. So another unit of the formation of Guy of Namur. Okay. That's better. Now we have to mark the crossbowman formation and we go to turn number 4. We have another try, but I think it's a waste of time. You can also activate any knight formation that has no available activation cards but still has units on the board. That's another active command he can do while he is at the HQ. This is also not applicable at this moment. Maybe we can have Godfrey of Brabant attack William on Jülich. Or we also have Jacques de Chatillon attack Guy of Namur. We already have some weakness over there. Attack Guy of Namur at -1 DRM. And we can even increase the odds by doing a charge. You can see here provides another -1 DRM to attacking French knight, infantry and pikeman formations. But we must expend an extra activation card to use it, and we have 4 available. So this is our charge, en avant, forwards, another -1 DRM. So in total we have -2 die roll modifier for attacking Guy of Namur. Okay, but first we have to roll for the opponent, and that's a 4. And a 4, that's the Flemish archers. Remove 1 crossbowman unit and then use the following table. So first of all, we have to remove one French crossbowman unit, and then we have to roll. There we go. And we have a 4. And a 4 means infantry. Ooh, 2 hits to the French infantry. And there goes another 2 units, so our French infantry is almost decimated. Okay. Good. And we have to keep in mind that 3 of the following formations. Okay, but infantry is not part of that. Would lose. Okay, now we are going to attack with Jacques de Chatillon. We're going to attack Kiev Namur. And there we go. For that we have to roll. And remember, we have a -2 die roll modifier. And we have a 4. -2 is 2. And that's 1 hit Flemish. So another unit of Kiev Namur. And we did not lose 1 knight unit. So that's relatively good. Could have been better, but we have played Jacques de Chatillon. And we go to the next turn, turn number 5. Crossbowmen here, maybe use them again to fire at also Kiev Namur. To get rid of him. But first, roll for the opponent. And we have a 5. A 5 is the Flemish reserve. When in reserve, if Jacques de Chatillon has less units than the Flemish reserve, advance. And the French reserve has 4 units, and Jacques de Chatillon also has 4 units. So Jacques de Chatillon has not less units than the Flemish reserve, so the Flemish reserve will not advance. So we have to use the tactical events. Okay, we roll for the tactical events. And oh, I thought we had another 7. It's a 3. A 3 means difficult terrain. French knights get stuck in the marshes and ditches. You must remove 1 unit from either Jacques de Chatillon, Raoul de Nesle, or Godfrey of Brabant. Ooh, we have to remove 1 unit. One of those 3. I'm going to take one of Godfrey of Brabant. Okay, and now it's our turn. We are going to fire at Kiev Namur with the French crossbowman. Yeah, that's our manual roll. We have a 1. I don't think that's good. No effect. That's complete miss. So again, mark the crossbowman. Go to the next turn. So that was not very successful. Battle is not really going our way. When can do something? Can also attack Kiev Namur with a +1 die roll modifier disadvantage. Maybe let them charge, and then we get rid of this disadvantage. Then there is no die roll modifier. So -1 +1 is 0. No die roll modifier, but first we roll for the opponent. So the pikemen are going to attack Kiev Namur. We have a 2. Willem of Jülich, apply the first valid action. If attacked by knights, this is not the case. Attack Raoul de Nesle if Willem of Jülich has equal or more units than Raoul de Nesle. And he has 5 and Raoul de Nesle has 4. As we can see here. 5 units for Willem of Jülich, 4 for Raoul de Nesle. So he will attack. And for that we have to do a roll. And we have a 4. So he's gradually wearing out Raoul de Nesle's force. And we have 1 unit Flemish. Oh, I'll be in the back. We trade 1 Flemish unit for 1 French knight unit. Okay. The charge of the pikemen over here on Kiev Namur. And let's do a manual roll. It's strange, but ooh, it's a 7. No die roll modifier. 2 hits French, so another blow for the French. Use 2 units. That's another charge token, so we still have 2 available. And both of them discarded. We have to mark the pikeman and go to the next turn, turn number 7. We have to try to route 4 of the 5 following formations. Maybe the crossbowman firing this time at William of Jülich. Should we continue on Guillaume Namur? No, it fires at Guillaume Namur. Yeah, we do that. First roll for the opponent. It's a 6. Guillaume Namur is not attacked by knights. He's fired at by a French crossbowman. Attack Jacques de Chatillon if Guillaume Namur has equal or more units than Jacques de Chatillon. And he has 3 units and Jacques de Chatillon has 4, so he has not more units. If Jacques de Chatillon is routed, attack Robert d'Artois. So that is not the case, so we have no action from the Flemish opponent. There is no valid action available, so now we are firing at Guillaume Namur. To the roll. And hopefully better than last time. Oh, it's just a 3. It was almost a 7, but finally is a 3. And a 3 is no effect. Crossbowman, not very effective in this battle. Next turn. Jacques de Chatillon. Jacques de Chatillon attack Guillaume Namur. This time with 1 activation card, so that's a -1 die roll modifier. Jacques de Chatillon will attack Guillaume Namur. And we roll again for the opponent. And we have a 6. And a 6 means Guillaume Namur again, but this time if attacked by knights, move into Chiltern and gain a +2 die roll modifier. And they are indeed attacked by Jacques de Chatillon, so they move into Chiltern, and I mark this with this Chiltern icon. I can put it wherever I want, doesn't really matter. So they are in Chiltern, and that means that they are getting a +2 die roll modifier. And notice the Flemish army can only move up to 3 times into Chiltern during the whole battle. That's why we mark each with a Chiltern disc, so we will use the Chiltern disc we can only use up to 3 times during a whole battle, and that's the first one. So he gains a +2 die roll modifier, while we have a -1 die roll modifier, so a +1 die roll modifier for the attack of Jacques de Chatillon at Guy of Namur. And there we go. And this is the bot action we actually have to take into effect during step number 5 when we play our selected card. And we have a 5 + 1 is 4. 4 + 1 is a 5. And that means 1 hit French, 1 hit Flemish. So a Flemish unit is destroyed and 1 French knight unit. Okay, so we still managed to take out 1 Flemish unit. Oh. You check, yeah, Jacques de Chatillon, that's correct. And then we go to the next. Here we are making some progress, but should we attack Ypres again? Godfrey of Brabant to attack Henry of Lonsen. Or he can attack William of Jülich also. Maybe attack William of Jülich, yeah. Godfrey of Brabant is going to attack William of Jülich at a -1 die roll modifier. That's the action. We choose, we roll for the opponent. We have a 4. That's archers. Again, Flemish archers remove 1 crossbowman unit. Here he goes. And then we have to roll again for the Flemish archers. And we have a 3. And a 3 is Godfrey of Brabant, 1 hit. Godfrey of Brabant loses 1 unit, knight unit, attack William of Jülich at -1 DRM. So we still have -1 die roll modifier advantage. 4 -1 is 3. That's 1 hit French, 1 hit Flemish. So the advantage did not really result in more Flemish losses. Okay. And that's Godfrey of Brabant. And we go to the next turn. Turn number 10. We are over halfway because we have 18 turns in total. And as we know, the French lose at the end of turn 18 if they did not achieve victory. And we have to take out 4 of these 5 infantry formations. Bowman maybe. Yeah. Last one. We are going to fire at William of Jülich. That's our order. Roll for the opponent. We have a 7. It's the first time we have a 7 for the opponent. John Borluut. If attacked by knights, not the case. Attack Jacques de Chatillon if John Borluut has equal or more units than Jacques de Chatillon. Jacques de Chatillon has 3 units. John Borluut has 5, so he will attack Jacques de Chatillon. And there we go. And he has a 6. And it's a very good attack from the Flemish. That means 1 hit French. And there was no die roll modifier. No. But that means that Jacques de Chatillon lost 1 knight unit. And now we fire at William of Jülich with our crossbowman and hopefully a better roll. And it's a 6, and I think that is a better roll. That's 1 hit. So that's again another Flemish unit. Okay. Crossbowman. We don't have any activation cards anymore. And we go to the next turn. Oh, turn number 11. So here we are making some progress. Rode Nesle, attack William of Jülich. That's our choice. Formation of Rode Nesle will attack William of Jülich at a -1 die roll modifier. But first roll for the opponent. It's a 3. A 3 is Henry of Lontzen. Apply the first valid action if attacked by knights. This is not the case. Henry of Lontzen is not attacked by knights. It's William of Jülich. So we go to the next. Attack Godfrey of Brabant if Henry of Lontzen has equal or more units than Godfrey of Brabant. And indeed, he has 5 units, more than the 2 units of Godfrey of Brabant. So he will attack Godfrey of Brabant. And he has a 5, and that means 1 hit French, 1 hit Flemish. 1 unit from Henry of Lontzen and 1 French knight unit. Okay, and now we get Rode Nesle attacking William of Jülich with a -1 die roll modifier. And we have 4. -1 is 3. That's 1 hit French, 1 hit Flemish. Yeah, we'll trade 1 Flemish infantry unit for 1 French knight unit. We should do better than that. And I think this was, yeah, Rode Nesle, have to mark it, and then go to the next turn, number 12. So we still have here 4 units, Henry Alonso, 1 unit, William O'Julich, Guillaume Namur, 2, still 5 units for John Borluut, and 4 of the reserve. You really have to make the light attack. I'm going now to engage in battle with my main force here. Robert II d'Artois. So that means I'm crossing the red line formation indicated on the card. So engaging in battle, and that means that he will not be able to give any orders anymore, like the garrison attacking Ypres or activate any knight formation that has no available activation cards but still has units. And this is marked by putting the banner here on this sword, double sword icon. And now he is in battle. You can do that in the same turn. It does not cost 1 turn, and he will attack any Flemish frontline information at -1 DRM. So we can choose. He will attack Guillaume Namur. Okay. And remember, Guillaume Namur is not in children. That is only if this is indicated by the sheet during that turn. So Robert II d'Artois is going to attack Guillaume Namur. And maybe we can do a charge. Why not? A charge of Robert d'Artois on Guillaume Namur. Okay, and now we roll for the opponent. And we have a 1. And a 1 means John of Rennes, commander, use tactical events. And we roll a 5 this time. And a 5 means Flemish bowman, remove 1 French crossbowman unit. Okay, there's another one. And now we're going to do the charge on Guillaume Namur. For that we're going to roll. And we have a -2 die roll modifier. Yeah. 2 -2 is 0. And it's 2 Flemish hits, and Guillaume Namur's formation has been routed completely. So now we're getting somewhere, but we have to use a charge. In the end, it was not really necessary. But okay, now we have to mark the commander, because now it is really a formation. It's not the commander anymore, it's a formation, a knight formation. Yeah, that is indicated here. And we go to the next turn, turn number 13, and that means that the activation card of the commander, so Robert II d'Artois, cannot be used twice in a row, so cannot be used during this turn. Okay. And we can attack the reserve if Namur or Julich has been routed with a -2 die roll modifier. That's interesting, although we had only 2 left. And that means so Rodenelle is going to attack with -2 DRM on the reserve. But first roll for the opponent. We have to mark it. There we go. Roll for the opponent. And we have a 1 again. That's John of Rennes, commander, use tactical events. He has a 2. A 2 means bolster the right flank. If Willem of Julich or Henry of Lonsen has taken casualties, that is the case, add 1 unit from the Flemish reserve to the formation with the least remaining units. Yeah, but this one is destroyed. And this rule also here. A formation once destroyed may never be reassembled and reinforcements cannot be added back into it. Also is valid for the, also counts for the Flemish opponent bot. So we cannot put units there. So that means we have to add one unit from the Flemish reserve to the formation of William of Jülich. And there we go. And now we are going to attack the Flemish reserve, as said before, with a -2 die roll modifier, because Guillaume Namur has been routed. And we have a 1. And a 1 means 2 hits Flemish. We didn't even need the -2 die ramp, because we actually have -1 now, 1 or less. 2 hits Flemish, so 2 units of the Flemish reserve have been routed. And that's much better. And we mark Rode Nesle. Yeah. Okay, and now next turn, turn number 14. So now we are getting somewhere. Let me see, we also have the infantry that can attack the reserve at a -1 die roll modifier if Jülich or Lonsen is routed, but this is not the case. But we also have the pikemen. Attack the reserve only if they are advanced. Attack the reserve if not advanced if Namur or Bolut is routed. Okay, so we will have the pikemen attack the reserve. Choice. Because Namur has been routed, so no die roll modifier, but first roll for the opponent. We have a 2. William of Jülich. If attacked by knights, this is not the case. Attack Rode Nesle if William of Jülich has equal or more units. In the meantime, he has 2. Rode Nesle has 2. You can see here. So that means they have equal units, and William of Jülich will attack Rode Nesle. So we have to roll, and we have 6, and that's 1 hit French. Keep in mind the French lose condition. We will lose at the instant all units of 3 of the 4 knight formations are routed. So this one is getting close, also this one. Okay, but now the pikemen attacking the reserve. There we go. And we have a 6. And that means 1 hit French. Another pikeman bites the dust. And that means we have to mark. Pikeman move to turn number 15. He can attack any Flemish frontline formation. That means Henry of Lonsen, William of Jülich, Guillaume Namur, but this one is already destroyed, or John Bolut. We're going to focus on these formations. And I'm going, or the Flemish reserve, if they are in the advanced position, which is not the case. Okay, attack the Flemish frontline formation of William of Jülich. And that's my choice with a -1 die roll modifier. But first roll for the opponent. We have a 2, and that's William of Jülich. If attacked by knights, move into Schilderen and gain +2 DRM. So another Schilderen, +2 DRM. We have to take that into account. We have a -1 DRM, so actually Robert II d'Artois is attacking with a +1 die roll modifier on the formation of William of Jülich. So we have 5 + 1 is a 6, and that means 1 hit French. So not a successful attack because of the Schilderen formation on the Flemish side. Mark Robert d'Artois, go to turn number 16. And this one is the second time that the Flemish went into Chiltern. They can do it still last time, a third time during this battle. Okay, you have to take out a tanked reserve. If Jülich or Lonsen is destroyed, this is not the case. We still have the pikemen. Let them attack the reserve with a -2 die roll modifier, because Namur has been destroyed. But first roll for the opponent. We have 1, again, John of Rennes, tactical event. And we have a 2. Bolster the right flank. If Willem of Jülich or Henry of Lonsen has taken casualties, add 1 unit from the Flemish reserve to the formation with the least remaining units. If equal, give priority to William of Jülich. But this is the least remaining unit, so the reserve goes to William of Jülich. And now our attack on the reserve has no objective anymore, because the reserve is moved to William of Jülich. So that means that we made a fruitless attempt. We have no target anymore, and that's a pity. Rolled the Netherlands, so that was not really a good choice, because it was nullified by the opponent maneuver. And now we have to go to turn number 17. So we have the reserve now completely routed. I have to say that not there anymore, Guillaume Namur, but we still need to take out 2 other Flemish formations. We still have 1 charge left, and I'm going to charge with the commander formation on William of Jülich. That's my choice. We roll for the opponent. We have a 1. John of Rennes, use the tactical events. We have a 5. Flemish bowman, remove 1 French crossbowman unit as the last one. Okay, and now we attack William of Jülich. Charge him. 7. 7 -1 and another -1. -2 is a 5. 1 hit French, 1 hit Flemish. So not very good roll. And there we go. Now we have no commander activation cards anymore. Last turn 18. Too little, too late, I would say. They'll have Godfrey of Brabant, infantry, desperate attack we can do here. Jacques de Satillon could also attack the reserve, but in the meantime, it's no longer valid. Yeah, so let's attack with Godfrey of Brabant. Attack William of Jülich with a -1 DRM. Let's see what we get. For the opponent, a 5. That's the reserve, but the reserve is not there anymore. So that means the tactical events, that's the otherwise. And that's a 4. And a 4 means bolster the left flank. If Guillaume Namur of John Bluth has taken casualties, add 1 unit from the Flemish reserve, but there are no units anymore, so that's not valid. So we are going to attack William of Jülich with a -1 DRM. And we have 1 -1 is 0. That's 2 hits Flemish. But as mentioned, too little, too late. We managed to take out 3 Flemish formations, Guillaume Namur, William of Jülich, and the reserve, but that is not enough to win. We need to take out 4 of the 5 formations. Henry of Lonson and John Borduut are still standing, so that means that the Flemish have won this battle. And this ends the playthrough. As usual, I hope I didn't make any mistakes. If you think I made a mistake, you can always leave a comment. Thank you for watching. Hopefully see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.